While that race wasn't quite as wild as Atlanta, at the same time, there were still some things that left fans puzzled. Let's talk about the third and potentially final race of the Chicago Street Course. Let's talk about the Grand Park 165. And for the 165, we'll start off with the top 5. Perhaps it's unsurprising that Shane van Gisbergen picked up the win. He didn't score the most points on the day though. That's because in the stages he didn't really take much in the way of points. I don't think he ended up picking up any points over the course of it. In fact, the biggest points day was for Tyler Reddick in third, who got 50 to SVG's 40. Ty Gibbs in second got 35. Hamlin in fourth got 37. Then fifth place Kyle Busch was actually the second highest scoring driver of the day. Got fifth, but he got 41 points to him. For a lot of these drivers, SVG is as close to a road course ringer as we get in the next gen car. He's been competitive in all 3 editions. Became the first driver to sweep the Xfinity and Cup races in terms of qualifying and race win since Kyle Busch in 2018, I think. I think he might only be the second person in history to have done that. It's mightily impressive, his performances this weekend for Trackhouse. But equally as impressive is Ty Gibbs' run of form of late. He's been just consistently up there. We'll talk about that when we look at the championship picture. Reddick is good on road courses. Hamlin has not really had great form, especially this year. If you look at Cota was a nightmare. And Kyle Busch, he's been there or thereabouts. That RCR8 was good on road courses. I mean, remember Tyler Reddick winning at Rodam before, announcing his switch to 2311. He's always been able to get that machine better than it otherwise is on other tracks here. But then, that said, Austin Hill got a top 10, didn't he? He got 9th at the end of it all, so it was a good day for RCR. Allmendinger got 6th, Priest 7th, another fine run by him, and Bowman into 8th. We'll talk about his big clash towards the end. Top 10, the only driver I haven't mentioned there was Ross Chastain, who got a solid point today. Not as many points as Blaney in 12th, but 32 points. Not that it matters too much to him because he's already won a race, but those points will help later on in the season. But let's briefly talk about crashes, clashes, and casualties because, oh boy, there was a lot this weekend. All 4 Hendrick cars had to start at the rear of the field due to things like crash damage in qualifying. And then on, lap 1, lap 2, you have Hocevar, who clips the wall, going into the final couple of corners, spins around, and collects a bunch of other cars. I mean, Byron was out before the race even got going, but before it properly got into it, Hocevar's out, and he'd qualified 3rd. Dillon's out, Keselowski's out, Todd Gilliland's out, and Will Brown, who was just making another one-off appearance for Kaulig in the 13. He was hoping to perform similarly to his fellow supercar star. But whilst SVG is up in P1, Will Brown, second to last, P39, qualified 19th. That was a respectable qualifying position, but just got caught up in these incidents. Well, this incident. Michael McDowell, who qualified 2nd, got on the front row alongside SVG, led pretty early on, but on lap 53 he ended up having to retire, essentially. And, I mean, it wasn't just him who was affected. Josh Berry, Cole Custer, Ish Stenhouse as well. There were some drivers who had some good fortune, others that didn't. And, I mean, late in the race, the final lap, we saw the big crash for Cody Ware. Just went plumb into the wall. Into the tyres, looked like a brake failure. But the headline clash, I think, well, that was between Bowman and Bubba Wallace. Again. 2 years in a row those two have gotten into each other. I'm sure Bubba's going to try and pay him back at some point. But they were competing over, P6, P7? They were competing over the the in-season challenge bracket as well. Playoff points do also factor into it, and neither of them have won yet this season. But yeah, they got into each other quite a bit. Bowman turns Wallace into the wall. And yeah, Bubba Wallace finishes 28th. 5 laps down. Alex Bowman, he gets the top 10. Gets 8th. But the implications on the regular season championship and the playoff grid are massive. SVG's now had a second win. That's climbed above Brad Keselowski and Daniel Suarez in the regular season standings. He's up to 27th, just behind Austin Dillon. Meanwhile, somebody who had been running relatively well, like Carson Hocevar, that recent run of incidents has just dropped him way down the order. He's down to 21st. But because of SVG's win, because of the win for Josh Berry as well, and the win for Cindric, you have 3 drivers who are outside of the top 16 who, well, I mean, between them they got 4 wins. But also, they'll be taking something off the grid. So that cutoff now moves up 3 spots. And I believe, does that mean that Bubba Wallace is still the cut line? Chris Buescher gets a more comfortable cushion, because he's up to 11th. He's on 476 points. Bubba's on 443, so 33 points behind between them. And it's only 2 points between Ryan Preece and Bubba Wallace as well. It's weird to see the RFK cars on the bubble, especially when Keselowski was performing so well at Atlanta last week. But, yeah, Keselowski's down in 28th. The 2 that are on the playoff brink, they're the other 2 cars. AJ Allmendinger's on the outside looking in. Kyle Busch is on the outside looking in. After the issues for Eric Jones, he's firmly on the outside looking in with only, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s on the season. Yeah, Bubba Wallace, it's just, if he's running, he's typically running well. Top 10s. He's got, 3 top 5s on the year, and, yeah, another couple of top 10s as well. But then there's just the, wow, Texas 33rd, Kansas 33rd, Coke 600 35th, 36th for Pocono, 28th here, 29th for Daytona and in Phoenix as well. So it's not been the end of the world, but this was supposed to be a good points day for him, and look at what's happened in the end. And let's briefly talk about that final race for Chicago as well. It could be the end. There are rumours that Chicagoland might come back, and in addition to that, the street race might move to San Diego. But I've enjoyed this this street race. It's, for me, as a European fan, it's very hard to see a good race that's a street race on a grid system. I don't know if my North American viewers would feel necessarily the same way, but it is a thing for me I guess it is for me as a European, because, well, we don't tend to have the grid system so much. After the Great Fire of London, they tried to rebuild on the grid system, but they're unable to. And hopefully you'll find at San Diego, if they do choose to have San Diego as the venue, they'll use a stretch that doesn't necessarily have that same kind of character to it. When I think of successful street races, or sort of street races, temporary circuits in the States, I think of St. Pete in Florida. That's got a good success because of the fact that you just see the cars running, well, down the airfield and then through some windy streets. Long Beach, there's a reason why Long Beach has been so successful for decades, and it's because of the curvature of the track. It's because of the way that it runs along the Shoreline Drive and Seaside Way. Just the way that it snakes around everything. The fountain. Heck, you got a fountain in the middle of that, and it's great. But if you're going to make a successful street race, it needs to have more character to it than just, something like the Caesars Palace one, which was literally in a car park. F1 has shown when it went back to Vegas that it's been able to make it work. And for me, for something that is based around a grid system, the race around Grand Park is successful. You get a little bit that breaks it up around the East Congress Plaza Drive, where you've got the camber, where you've got the trickiness of getting into it and getting out of it, where some people will try to run side by side near Van Buren Street. There have been some bits that were lethal. I mean, Jensen Button got turned going into that final corner for the start of the race one year, right? There are other bits that make it great for the NASCAR fan. Like the run alongside the Lakeshore Drive. When they then have to slow down going through E. Roosevelt Road. And then you just need to make sure that you get right going on to Columbus. Like, that is a really nice section. The only thing that I wish... There were rumours for a while, weren't there, that IMSA was going to double up with NASCAR. I wish we'd had a chance to see that. That would have been a lot of fun. Anyway, so those are my thoughts, those are my feelings. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching and joining again. And until next time, it's bye-bye for now.